important key for them having success today.
And she said defense, we got to guard the mess out of them. That was her line earlier today. And Hurd almost picked the pocket. Bailey Maupin will come up with it. Maupin, the junior out of Groover, Texas. Looking for a little more consistency from her as we head down the home stretch of the conference season.
And watch Texas Tech in their ball movement, being able to work multiple sides of the floor in the half court. Their spacing is something that they've been stressing big time as of late, and being able to get those types of shots where you've got Shavers with momentum going to the basket.
Last 3 games, Jasmine Shavers has averaged over 18 points a ball game, and I think the efficiency of that possession by Texas Tech is something Krista Gerlich probably likes to see.
She said we want high percentage shots, we want paint touches. Oklahoma State, they're going to make it really tough to do that. They do a really good job of just packing it in, building that wall and making it tough. But if Tech can be, really patient on the offensive end, work multiple sides, the Staley Hurd gets on the board right away. Tech's going to have to be really calculated and patient, on the offensive end of the floor. Like I said, multiple sides, moving, crisp passes, hard cuts, cuts to the rim, being active. That's going to help them get those paint points that they want.
Now they're coming off a win, Texas Tech over Houston, 62-44 from the outside. Danae Fritz. She's caught on fire the last 3 games.
And that is the ball movement, that baseline penetration, kick out, extra pass. That's the type of ball movement that Krista Gerlich wants to see from her squad.
At times they have done that this year. The bugaboo for Texas Tech has been turnovers. Here's Oklahoma State, more of a perimeter team. Heavy on ball screen, and Hurd takes it hard to the hole. She can go inside and outside.
Oh, she is so good and so worthy of national attention with what she's bringing, not just to her team, but to the Big 12 Conference, her story. And you just see her size and her physicality muscling her way to the paint, and that is a great look. Great pass there by Danae Fritz. Being able, again, attacking the paint early and often for the Lady Raiders.
Well, Danae Fritz, she comes in averaging just over an assist and a half a ball game. She had only 4 assists the last 7 games. That's something they want to see improve on. She has the ability, and here out front, Tenan Magassa. She's one of the best pickups that Oklahoma State has gotten. Magassa, the transfer from Rhode Island, started out at Dayton inside. Watching her on tape, to be honest with you, she's blown me away. Her footwork.
That look, she makes that look really easy. First off, that was a great high-low pass, something that's drilled day in and day out of Oklahoma State. But being able to catch the ball, you're in a tough position, a little bit too far under the rim, but then have the poise to kind of gather yourself and go back up. She makes that look really easy.
From the outside, Maupin, a little bit short. Sonogo from France, being guarded by another player from France, both from Paris, Magassa. And Tech turns it over into the hands of Alexia Smith. Smith, better known for her defense, probably the best one-on-one defender. Strong move to the hole. Magassa kicks it back out. Micah Gray on the drive, got it. The junior from Oklahoma City.
Those second chance points. Oklahoma State averages just under 13 per game. Gonna have to do a job of keeping them off the offensive glass if you're the Lady Raiders.
Micah Gray, outstanding from the outside. Oklahoma State has hit 4 of the 5 shots. That hit underneath. That'll be another turnover for Texas Tech. Let's talk about the keys to the game. And Krista Gerlich and her staff very exact of what Oklahoma State, first of all, will do that. They need to do for keys to the game.
Well, Oklahoma State, they got to win the hustle plays. That's what makes this team so good, is just their heart and their hustle. They have to take care of the basketball. That's going to be a key for both of these teams, and they have to out-rebound Texas Tech. Their offense starts and ends on the defensive end of the floor. When they're able to get stops and they're able to dictate pace on the offensive end, it starts with defense.
Hurd no place to go. Now they switch. They've got Jada Wynn on her. Maupin started out on her, dragging the foot. Could have been a travel by Wooten, the talented freshman. Heward. What a great story for Macy Heward. She dumps it down inside. Shot clock at 10. That's going to be 3 seconds in the lane. Texas Tech has a scoring drought of over 208. Talking to the coaching staff yesterday, we know that obviously Oklahoma State, their first quarter is the best quarter they have offensively, outscoring their opponents 21.7 to 13-3, but Texas Tech says it's the second 5 minutes of the first quarter That will be important. Shavers, no. Heward, the rebound. Scoring drought for Tech now over 2.5 minutes. Here's Jaden Wooden out of Overland Park, Kansas, the Kansas Player of the Year in the paint. Shavers pulls it down.
I'll be honest, we're seeing some good contests on these shots right now from both of these teams. You can tell, how much they've been stressing the defensive end of the floor and the game planning right now.
Well, from Texas Tech standpoint, their practice yesterday was probably 75% defense. Shot clock at 8. Shavers tries to throw it into Wynn. Picked off by Hurd. Boy, Heward was spouting up for the 3, but Kaylee Hurd takes it to the hole.
And that is exactly why you cannot turn the ball over against Oklahoma State. When they're able to get their hand and get running in a track meet the other way, you are at such a disadvantage.
That was one of the keys for Texas Tech. Is turning the ball over, allowing them to run. We've got a timeout, 4:37 to play here in the opening quarter. And the Cowgirls over the Lady Raiders by 3.
Mom, and since then she's seen massive support from people like her team, where she's allowed to see success on and off the court, guys.
And follow up on that too, Jasmine Player, one of her assistants who played at Baylor and in the WNBA. She had a daughter, Kobe, in July, so both of these kids are here today. Fritz, offensive rebound and putback.
And that was really good. I mean, Oklahoma State came out in a zone, just switching it up, trying to keep Texas Tech off rhythm here. And that was really good patience and ball movement by Tech to break down that zone. You always want to kind of get it to that free throw line or those short corners. That was good execution.
Well, one of the problems Tech's having right now is Oklahoma State, 10 of their 10 points have come in the paint. That's going to be a foul against the Cowgirls. And that's going to be Macy Heward, very talented sophomore out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Let's talk about Texas Tech. What do they need to do to win today, Rachel?
Well, first and foremost, spacing and great shot selection. And being able to do that, you have to be able to share the basketball. So it's about knocking down open shots. Things that we've seen early and often. They've also got to do a great job at defending the three-point line. Oklahoma State averages 9 made threes a game. They're 15th in the country, shooting at 37% as a team. And as always, like I said, for both teams, limiting turnovers and taking care of the basketball.
Well, this offensive possession not as smooth as Coach Gerlich would want. Maya Pete sets the pick. Getting the hand on the ball is Magassa. That'll be her 41st block of the season. And the freshman Wooten quickly down court. Hurd for 3, rattles it around. Solid three-point shooter at 45% on the year.
She's got 9 right now, and you were talking about the paint points, as that's going to be an offensive foul on Texas Tech. Very interesting. That was a great contest there by Magassa, but let's take another look at this. I mean, just driving down in the paint, Magassa comes over and walls up. Texas Tech bench looking for a foul.
Wow.
Nonetheless, that gives the Lady Raiders an opportunity to set up in the full court. You want to try to do that on a made shot, but at least on a dead ball turnover like that type of scenario, they're able to set it up. Their press.
Well, Texas Tech at times has had an outstanding press. Defense has been their calling card.
Just a miscommunication there. Magassa, looking, you got to, as a post player, you got to catch the ball on the perimeter. You can't just be a ball wheel, right? You've got to be able to catch it face up, square up. Had a little bit of a back cut on the other end of the floor, so just a miscommunication. Turnover forced, opportunity for the Lady Raiders.
Well, Lady Raiders going to their bench. They had 30 bench points versus Houston. In the last 2 games, they've had 9 players score in each game, and that is big for Maya Pete on the inside.
And that was really good execution and timing off of that little slip there by Pete. And being able to execute that, a great pass, giving her momentum just to finish right there at the rim.
Well, Krista Gerlich just really preaching in practice. Outside jumper off the back of the iron from Micah Gray. They'll get another possession. Hurd, and another 3.
Second chance points, offensive rebounds. That's the 4th for Oklahoma State. 7 second chance points. And you were talking a little bit earlier about points in the paint. Those have come off of obviously trying to establish their bigs. It's come off of Staley Hurd being aggressive at the rim, but also turnovers as well.
Nice job by Gray going up over top of the screen. Shavers no place to go. Gray staying right in her belly. Shot clock at 8. Pete had an opening. Shavers will launch it over Magassa. Ball is loose. Hurd comes up with it. Hurd averaging over 17.5 in Big 12 games and shooting 48%. Tech comes up with a loose ball. One of the things Krista Gerlich was really preaching yesterday is no matter what happens, we've got to get paint touches.
Well, and what Oklahoma State's trying to do is they want to bait them into shooting contested 15-footers, contested perimeter shots.
Nice job defensively by the Cowgirls. Shavers walked with it.
And that is just, and you see J.C. Hoyt over there just clapping and that bench going wild right now. It's those types of possessions on the defensive end of the floor where you are literally building a wall around that paint. And you see, I mean, Texas Tech is doing everything they can from dribble handoffs to, working at multiple sides. But Oklahoma State's being so good on their switches. They'll switch 1 through 4, but then at the 5 spot, if it's coming off ball screens, they're so long, and that length is really being impactful.
You know what's impressive, too, when you break down numbers, and I blame that on my former partner, Hubie Brown. I love breaking down numbers. Oklahoma State's defense only allows a little over 9 assists a ball game, which means they're not letting anybody really get into the flow of their offense. That's going to be an offensive foul. Our officials, by the way, today, Julie Cromanhook, Nakisha Thompson, and Chuck Gonzalez. 61 seconds left to play here in the opening quarter. We're with Rachel Galligan and our sideline reporter, Emily Wisnowski. I'm Rob Cooper. Good to have you with us today. Checking into the lineup, Adley Blacklock. Last couple of games, Blacklock has really seen the ball go through the hoop, and she's talked to us all year. That's what she's needed to see. They just want it to keep going.
I mean, like 90% of her shots are from the three-point line, and she was talking, like you said, she was talking, she's like, you know what, you just got to have that like short-term memory. You just got to let it go, whether you're hitting or not. You just got to be ready. That's my role on this team. Those are the opportunities that I'm looking to hunt.
Today, Fritz, nice job running into the floor, but couldn't get it. Here is Gray. Nice quick hands, nice job, Blacklock. Final 26 seconds, about a 2-second difference shot of the game clock. Or Texas Tech, they need a solid possession here. Their scoring drought over 220.
Yeah, you got to run it down. You got to look, to really try to inch this thing down to the final second. Work in that zone. Great ball movement. Just could not get it. I mean, that's as good as a look as you're going to get for Blacklock.
And then a foul by Kyla Freelon on Hurd with 4 seconds left to play in the quarter. I mean, that's what Krista Gerlich wants from her team. Get the ball into the post. You saw Kyla Freelon come up top. She got it. It was a good look for Blacklock.
And it was, honestly, I mean, Oklahoma State switched their defense right in the middle of that possession just to throw them off.
Nice defense. That's going to be a jump ball with 0.2 of a second. Possession arrow, the Cowgirls. And Logan Johnson's going to come in. Blacklock will go out. Logan Johnson comes in for defensive purposes. And it'll be Wooten. Not going to be able to get it. Texas Tech, their last 2 opponents, shot a combined 36%. But Oklahoma State shooting.
TCU, Oklahoma State coming off that huge ranked win, 17 points. She's just a week removed from Writers Association National Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Has been such a joy to watch and follow this season with her toughness, her competitiveness. And we were talking to her a little bit yesterday, and I was like, where do you get that from? She credited her family quite a bit. She's like, I was just kind of raised that way.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. I'm just tough, I'm gritty. She wants to make the extra pass. She wants to make the hustle plays. She's got to be such a joy to play with.
Great defense. One, Maupin lets it fly, not going to do it. During the break, you and I were talking about what was the difference in that first 10 minutes, and you said it's obviously OSU's defense and their rebounding, and we saw it right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty bow on top of what we've seen so far through one quarter. Oklahoma State really controlling the game plan so far, building that shell defensively. You talk about the offense, and that's what makes this team really good,
right,
and why they were recently ranked in the top 25. And if they can take care of business today, I fully anticipate there's a good chance they'll be back in the top 25 after that ranked win. But they're so potent offensively. They do a great job. They score a lot of points, average about 81 a game. But defensively is really where they hang their hats, and we're seeing it right now. Lady Raiders are having a really tough time getting any momentum.
Well, Magassa picked up her second personal foul. So she's going to have to go out. Stacey Jones checks into the lineup. Texas Tech, though, only down by 5. Need to get more efficient on offense. And again, there's that defense. Hurd with Fritz to beat. Nice dish inside. Count
The behind the back pass, put it on the highlight reel. Turnovers, you cannot turn the ball over against Oklahoma State. You can't have the ball on top of your head. You've got to be strong with it, rip it through on the perimeter.
That was just a great look. And one of the things Staley Hurd does so well is she's a very unselfish player. And you go back to even last year and you look at Staley Hurd, she's evolved into a more complete player. But J.C. Holt was telling us the other day it has to do more with the pieces around her as opposed to last year.
Yeah, last year having to run the point at times, having to, defend and play a little bit in the post. I mean, she was asked to do so much, and that's a lot on the shoulders of a freshman, right?
Oh.
And so this year, the pieces that they've been able to add have freed her up, and she's got confidence in them, they've got confidence in her, and she's able to be a little bit more natural in her position.
Well, one of the things Oklahoma State wanted to do is limit turnovers because that fuels this Oklahoma State offense, which we have seen. Jalen Bristow inside, swatted away by Hurd.
And that was a great job by Bristow attacking a closeout. You got to close out and somebody's leaving their feet. That shot fake penetration off the dribble, but then you got Staley Hurd just coming down and making a play on the basketball. I mean, we knew she was impressive, and I know we're going to talk about her at nauseam here today, but that is an unbelievable play to make on the defensive end of the floor.
Catch and shoot. What a shot by Jasmine Shavers.
Great recognition there by Shavers. It's good to see her get going a little bit, especially from the three-point line. Texas Tech just 2 from 8. They've got to see the 3 ball go down. Let's see if that gives them a little bit of momentum.
Now that cuts the lead down to 4. Texas Tech is led by 3. Oklahoma State's led by as many as 7. Oklahoma State leads the overall series between these two teams 40-35. They've won 10 in a row. And that's going to be a whistle and a foul. That'll be on Jasmine Shavers.
Head coach Krista Gerlich talking to her team right now about you've got to be tough with the basketball. These dribble handoffs. And she talked about that with us leading up to it. We've got to value the possession more. We have to be tougher with the ball in our hands, whether it's in traffic, whether it's on, the glass. We have to be strong with the ball, and that is a perfect example and why she was just fired up on that last possession.
Maupin comes over, shot by Alexia Smith off the mark. Shavers comes down with it. So Tech, despite shooting just 38%, still in this ball game. That's the problem they've had in a couple of their losses. Texas Tech has gotten good looks. You look at that Iowa State game, they let 23 points go off the board. They had great looks, just couldn't knock the shots down. Backdoor, Bailey Maupin took her eyes off it, off her fingers.
I mean, that was actually a great read there by Maupin. And when you're being overplayed like that on the wing, that backdoor cut was there, but just couldn't handle the pass. That would have been a great possession. A little bit of momentum. You're seeing in spurts Texas Tech kind of find comfortability.
Right. Pull-up jumper by the freshman, Jaden Wooten.
Well, that looks familiar. We saw that the other night quite a bit.
Against TCU.
I mean, a mid-range clinic against TCU. Really took control of that second half and really propelled Oklahoma State. All of her 14 points came from the mid-range, came in the second half.
She's fearless. And you look at go back to the Baylor win. And Bailey Maupin knocks down the 3. That was needed. Go that Baylor game, and Jaden Wooten really put the team on her back in that game too. Big difference maker. Hurd goes around Bristow. Throws it away, trying to get it into the hands of Smith. Logan Johnson. Kyla Freelon will come into the ball game. Kyla Freelon coming off one of her best games this year in the last contest versus Houston. She got the Lady Raider Dominator Award. Gets the big chain, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Tech with a chance to pull within 1 or even tie this game up. Maupin sees an opening. That's going to be an offensive foul. That'll be on Kyla Freelon.
that's the issue a little bit right now this first half. When Tech starts to get a little bit of momentum, and the 3 ball's keeping them in it right now. The last couple of minutes, they've been able to find the bottom of the net, but just some unforced turnovers. That offensive foul, the turnover on the backdoor cut from Mop in the possession before. Right now, Tech with 9 turnovers in this game.
And that hurts.
Yes.
Especially Oklahoma State. We talked about that fuels their offense, those turnovers. Heward. No place to go. Nice defense by Tech, but the pull-up counted.
That's good defense, but that's even better offense, you know, just being able to elevate and just get that shot off.
Stacey Jones, very athletic in her 5th year out of Kathleen, Georgia. Started at Kennesaw State, went to Mercer. Here's Maupin. Down by 5, closing in on 5 to play here in the first half. Bristow got position on the inside. Right back into the hand. Annegret Ossie. Ossie, the senior out of Estonia, started her career at Arizona. The offense really begins to her in the half-court set. It begins with her in the half-court set.
She's such a good decision maker, and she can also go get you a bucket. Nice little finish there, right around the paint by Stacey Jones.
Stacey Jones, only 2 points the last 6 games. She's got 4 this afternoon at Oklahoma State. They open up a 7-point advantage. That is their biggest lead of the game.
Three-point shot is under review.
Averaging just under 25 points per game from the bench. They're top 70 in free throws per game. They're 17th in the nation in blocks. So they do some good things. But what we were talking about a little bit there during the break was just a lot of time, and that's great execution out of a timeout. That's what you want to have. So that's a start. What they have to do is try to string together 3 consecutive stops. They haven't been able to do that. It's 3 consecutive stops, but then coming down and executing. They've been able to get some stops, but then they come down and they turn it over. They get an offensive foul. And so I think right now that's what Krista Gerlich's talking about in those timeouts. Okay, there's a stop. You came out, you executed, and now you got another stop. Now come down and execute again. Teams, good teams, you know, teams that win these types of games have to be able to do that multiple times throughout the stretch of a game.
Well, that's the 7th turnover for Oklahoma State, about half of what they average for a game. That's going to be a kick. But one thing about Texas Tech, and talking to the coaches and watching practice yesterday, they believe that if they can get Oklahoma State in that half-court offense, they can guard them.
And we have seen, you know, some of those points off turnovers that Oklahoma State has done a pretty good job off of, you know, being able to turn it over and get out in the open court and run. They forced 9, they've got 8 points off turnovers. But like you said, if they can get them in the half court and defend, and honestly, I think they've done a decent job so far in this half. It's the turnovers, and, you know, like, again, you're shooting, well, they were shooting 39%, now they're shooting 42%. So, you know, they've hit a couple of threes, but just being able to, you know, get them in the half court, like you said, that is such an important key.
Well, it's been a clean game. Neither team has been to the free throw line. Texas Tech coming off a game against Houston. They shot only 3 free throws. Neither team visiting the stripe so far this evening. Here's Logan Johnson, tries to go baseline, sees the double. Bristow drags the foot. That's going to be a travel. And again,
back to my point.
Exactly.
And that's a possession. You've got to get a clean look at the rim. You've got to be able to execute without turning the ball over. And I mean, again, we could talk about the backdoor cut with Maupin. We could talk about the moving screen, dragging the foot. It's just, I mean, Lady Raiders are doing some good things, but they're shooting themselves in the foot at times here early on in this game.
Oklahoma State looking for their best 20-game start since 2013. 2014. Hurd already a couple of threes, rebounds. Heward and the putback. Unbelievable, her work ethic. I mean, we showed up this morning. Oklahoma State was not going to shoot around, but we got here about 8:30, 9 o'clock. She was in the gym shooting.
Wow. And it's no surprise, and we'll talk about her here a little bit later as the broadcast goes on. I got some things I want to talk about, but what an unbelievable talent and just motor. I mean, she makes me want to work harder in what I do.
Strong move to the hole, of course, her dad, Brock, her mom Molly, both outstanding athletes. Brock gets all the attention, but Molly was a feisty little player at Washington in the hoops.
Look at that strong, aggressive take there, just to the rim. I mean, we talk about her shooting, 40% perimeter shooter. Shout out to Heward family back home. They're my neighbors down there in Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
I love it.
I'll be heading back to that area after this one.
What a great talk we had with Macy earlier today. And one of the real neat things about our job is we meet some incredible young women, and Macy's one of those. And she and I were talking about other things besides basketball today, and just enjoyable. And J.C. Holt telling us how much Macy has added to the culture of this team. That's huge.
Well, and that was a major emphasis for J.C. Hoyt and her staff in the off season. You know, it's such a different time when it comes to the transfer portal and filling out your roster and trying to figure out, okay, there's so much movement. And they really attacked it differently this offseason and added, like you said, those types of culture pieces. They were not going to settle for anything less than elite culture kids.
Well, Sarah Sonogo is going to be fouled on the play, and this is an important 3 minutes, now 2:57 for Texas Tech. We look at it again. Nice pump fake.
They've got to find a way to establish her a little bit more. In my opinion, she's the best finisher in the paint for Texas Tech. 54%. She's so long. She's so athletic. And that was really good execution. And being able to send her to the free throw line, that was a good job. 50% free throw shooter. I think she can be utilized a little bit more.
She was better at the beginning of the year from the line, but the last 5 games, Sarah Sonogo, the junior out of Paris, France, was averaging just 2 points a ball game. But beginning of the year, she was a big offensive threat. Came from Odessa College. Didn't get here till late. They're just anxious to have a whole summer with her. That's going to be a kick. Tech will have it with 2:45. Trailing by 7.
You're seeing active hands out of both teams. And that's a big opportunity for the Lady Raiders. Like you said, we've got 3 minutes here before halftime. Being able to string together a little bit of momentum, cut this to maybe a 1-possession game. That would be a massive, being able to close out those 3 minutes and then the 3 minutes coming out of halftime. That's a good look there for Bailey Maupin. I'll take that all day.
Bailey Maupin just 2 of 6 shooting so far here in the opening half. Hurd on the drive, just muscled her way in.
She's so strong, and it's amazing the spin on that ball. It somehow climbed its way up to the top of the rim. And sometimes long shots and quick shots can lead to transition points. Maupin with the response. That was pretty.
But Oklahoma State's hit 5 of their last 6 shots. Ball is loose. That's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow will belong to the Cowgirls.
And Texas Tech does not want this to get into a track meet. Like you said, we want them to be able to defend in the half court. But you see the Cowgirls getting the ball out quick, moving it up the floor quickly in transition.
On the drive inside, it's Micah Gray.
Really good underneath out of bounds execution.
Her numbers have actually gone down in Big 12 play, averaging just over 10.5 points a ball game and shooting just 35%. But on the season, much better at over 14 a game. Sonogo, nice job defensively by Wooten on Fritz. Wynn, Maupin, good look at the 3. Sonogo will knock it out with 1:33 to play in the half, and Logan Johnson will come back into the lineup, as will Kyla Freelon for Texas Tech.
Tech right now just 3 of 12 from the three-point line, 25%. Head coach Krista Gerlich talking about in shoot-around today, I need you guys to knock down open shots. We're going to get them. We're going to get them, but you have to knock down shots. And that sounds really simple, but that's something this team has struggled with, is just being able to knock down open shots. And it's not because they don't work on it. It's not because they don't get in the gym. It's just a confidence thing right now with this team. And I think that's something that they're preaching, and instilling in one another day in and day out. That's a great stop here by Texas Tech. An opportunity to come down and execute. 1 minute to go. You don't want Oklahoma State to be able to get this possession and stretch out this lead before halftime.
Exactly. Good defensive stand, Logan Johnson on Hurd. And again, they cough it up, and then a whistle and the foul.
I'm a little surprised. I thought that could have been a foul. On that post defense there, Sarah Sonogo got wrapped up a little bit on that possession. Nonetheless, a turnover.
That is 11 turnovers for Oklahoma, or for Texas Tech in this game. But Oklahoma State really hasn't taken advantage of that. They've only got 10 points off turnovers. Final 48 seconds, the lead is 9. Hurd, now Freelon guarding her. Goes by her, off the glass, counted. Hurd's got 16.
I mean, Texas Tech cannot guard her one-on-one off the dribble right now. I mean, she's getting literally, and it looks easy. It looks like she's getting straight line drives to the rim, but she's bodying them with her strength and physicality. We know she can shoot the three. I mean, she had a game earlier this season. She went 7 for 7 from the three-point line, but she has been so effective off the bounce.
All her numbers are up from 2024 for Staley Hurd. So efficient. And Bailey Maupin answers for her 9th point of the ball game. Final 6 seconds.
They needed that. They got to get a stop here.
The lead is 9. Freelon kicks it. And it'll be Oklahoma State's ball with 7/10 of a second. Oklahoma State 14-2 when they lead at intermission. Oklahoma State coming in with just 3 losses, all of them single digits, to Richmond, Kansas, and Houston. Houston was the surprise, but they got down by as many as 26. Ferocious comeback, even had a chance to win it late in the game, but the common factor of those 3 losses, they just didn't shoot the ball all that well.
Yeah, which happens, right? And that's why I think with both of you, you can talk to both of these coaches. That happens throughout the course of a season. You know, you can rely on your defense night in and night out.
Right.
That defense is going to travel, and I think that is why both of these coaches stress that so emphatically, the defensive end of the floor and your ability to get stops, consecutive stops, be disruptive, force teams to turnovers, because we're in the game of basketball, right?
Yeah.
I wish we could come out and knock down every shot, but that is not the case. Some nights you are going to be off.
Well, you know, go back to what Krista Gerlich was talking to her team yesterday, and the phrase she used, we need elite shot selection. Because as you touched on briefly, Oklahoma State will bait you into mid-range jumpers. Now, you go back and look at Texas Tech. Iowa State, they had 24 mid-range jumpers. BYU, they had 6. Houston, they had 5. What that means is those last 2 games, they made the right reads. And I'm not sure we've seen that in the first 20 minutes so far.
Well, and I think you credit Oklahoma State's defense for that. This is why they're one of the top defensive teams in the country, and they're ranked in. I mean, it would take me forever to sit here and read Alf all the different stats in which this team is ranked in, both offensively and defensively. They're just so solid. Yes, there's a star in Staley Hurd, but there's so many weapons on this team, and they're so disciplined and so unified on the defensive end of the floor. I think you have to credit that, you know, just with how disruptive they can be. They make everything so difficult for you offensively.
Nice job by Bailey Maupin poking it away. So Oklahoma State shooting 56%.
Great defense there coming out of halftime. Again, the different defenses that J.C. Hoyt is throwing to this team is really keeping them on their heels. Just coming out of halftime and trapping on the wing, forces a turnover.
That's why I said Magassa was the best addition. We saw her come over defensively and knock that ball away. A whistle and a foul is going to be called. That'll be on Sonogo. I mean, Magassa, this will be her first and only year at Oklahoma State. And I was kidding some of the staff earlier today for the Cowgirls. I said, gosh, if she just had one more year, how good could she be?
I mean, just her size. It's so hard. It's 6'6", her size, her mobility, her hands, and her touches and her finishes around the paint. She's shooting 60% from the floor. And it's interesting. I mean, she could be on a lot of different programs in the country right now and be averaging, you know, double. She doesn't necessarily have to do that, but she has been so efficient. And when they get her going in the paint, I mean, offensively, what a weapon.
Well, Hurd's got 17 points, 4 rebounds in the ball game, an efficient 17, 7 of 12 shooting.
Oklahoma State out in that 2-3 zone. That's a great pass fake, ball fake, and that is exactly how you want to attack a zone. You're going to get those shots. It's a pass fake on the top of the key. Danae Fritz being ready and prepared on the wing, being able to see the ball go through the net early for Tech. They've got to have a really good first 3-4 minutes here.
Well, if Tech gets back into the game, it's going to be because of their defense, and Fritz has 8. That's been her average over the last 3 games. Magassa, high point. Sanogo, they bounce, can't get it, and it goes in. Texas Tech was there.
They were there, but they are so strong. Micah Gray, and we've seen Staley Hurd do it here this afternoon. We just saw Micah Gray do it. The way they can body you up off the dribble. I mean, the players just bouncing off of them because they're so strong.
Sanogo, count the basket. Sarah Sanogo will go to the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is the exact read. I was thinking to myself at halftime, she has been open on that backdoor slip, and Bailey Maupin with the phenomenal read, the late backside rotation there from Micah Gray. That has been there. That's what I'm talking about. Krista Gerlich saying, hey, we've got to make the right reads. They've missed that, I would say, 3 or 4 times in the first half, and she is the best finisher in the paint for Texas Tech.
Well, she understands the game. Sarah Sanogo does, out of Paris, France, as we mentioned. Number 6 in the Big 12 Conference in blocks. She has a lot of skill offensively. Nice defense. Fritz with the pick. Logan Johnson. Bailey Maupin wisely will bring it out front.
Yeah, you didn't have anything, a little bit scattered there, but a great job of coming up with a turnover. Texas Tech with a little bit of momentum. Like I said, these first 3-4 minutes of this half, can they come out of halftime with a vengeance and try to chip into this thing? Consecutive stops.
Now they switch, Maupin being guarded by Hurd. Hurd very physical defensively. Maupin, not sure what that was, into the hands of Magassa.
Well, shot clock winding down. She had maybe another dribble in her. I'm not sure why she forced it to that way, but yeah, just trying to create something out of nothing.
On the drive, Micah Gray is going to be fouled. How about Micah Gray? Chicago State, she had 36 points in that game, the most since Andrea Riley in 2010 for the Cowgirls. Here it is again.
Well, and like, she's 6th in the country in 3-point attempts. She shot 153 threes this year. She's 18th with 52 makes, but showing her versatility and her ability to attack the rim these last few possessions. Definitely not limited to the perimeter by any means.
What a route she has taken to get to Stillwater. Texas Southern to Seton Hall, and then she comes to Stillwater. What an addition for this team. Last 4 games has shot only 29%, but Gray 3 of 4 shooting today. She's got 7 in the ball game. The lead is also at 7. Fritz, 4th game in a row she has played well offensively. They switch again.
She's averaged 8 points the last 4 games, really starting to come on offensively. The Lady Raiders need her to. On the season, only averaging about 4 points, but I think she's starting to find a rhythm here a little bit here in this Texas Tech offense. And sometimes we talk about Jasmine Shavers, we talk about Bailey Maupin. You know, they come up with about 45% of Texas Tech scoring. They're actively looking for that 3rd score, that 4th score. Who's consistently giving you, 8, 9, 10, along with, Shavers and Maupin.
Gala Freelon comes over the top. She is going to be called for the foul. And that'll be her 3rd personal foul, so she's going to have to go out. Jalen Bristow comes back into the lineup. And Macy Heward also coming back into the lineup for Oklahoma State. I mean, you think about Magassa, too. She picked up her 2nd personal foul in that 2nd quarter, 9-10 mark. And she's been playing with 2 fouls. She's kept it clean. Giving her a little bit of a breather now, taking her out of the game. Here's Hurd on Maupin. Hurd so strong, physical. And Bailey Maupin will be whistling for the foul.
I mean, she looks like a running back with the ball in her hands.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, just the way she does a great job of protecting the ball. I mean, she was telling us, it was 3-sport athlete, ran the 800-meter in high school, was runner-up in that. She has a cross-country individual title, played volleyball. You play football as well, flag football?
Yep.
I mean, she looks like it the way she plays.
Oh, she's blind in her right eye.
Which is unbelievable. I mean, I could talk about what an unbelievable story. I mean, well, again, that's why I said she deserves national recognition, not just because of what she does on both ends of the floor and the toughness she brings, but just that alone is something that the world needs to know, because, I mean, what an unbelievable story, and how she doesn't make that as an excuse.
Exactly.
That's great execution there by Texas Tech with the and one. But Staley Hurd does not use that as an excuse. You know, she really doesn't even necessarily want to talk about it. Okay with us talking about it, but that's all she knows. And she's been able to adapt. That's who she is. That's the way she was born, and she's found a way. And it's unbelievable. Her story is incredible.
Absolutely. And Logan Johnson doing her part. Logan Johnson showed us what she was going to be made of last year as a freshman. Very physical on the inside. She helps cut that lead down to 6. And again, Oklahoma State's led by as many as 11.
Well, they're winning this quarter right now. The offense has gotten going here. And really good. That's the type of response you wanted to have out of the Cowgirls.
And Sonogo got hit hard. I'm not sure it's in the throat or in the stomach.
Yeah, she's holding her sternum or her throat area.
She took a shot. No foul was called. Sarah's going to go over to the sideline, and they're going to bring Maya Pete back into the lineup.
Let's take another look. Just a half a step behind on that backside rotation. And yeah, right there immediately just kind of grabbing her throat area.
Well, we've got 6:27 left to play here in the third quarter. No foul, just a basketball play on the other end of the court. Thank you, Julie Cromanhook, for giving us the thumbs up on that. But still, Texas Tech still in this ball game within striking distance. Oh, beautiful pass, Logan Johnson, Maya Pete. Magassa got a piece of it.
Yeah, that's tough. It's going to be tough getting that shot up over 6'6".
That's her second block. She had 6 against TCU, the most in Division I this year. Whistling a foul underneath. And I think it's going to be on Maya Pete.
Yeah, just a little bit too much. Really trying to block out, drive underneath the basket. A little bit excessive there.
And here is Tenin Magassa. You mentioned 6'6". What you watch on tape is her mobility, and she can play at a fast pace. And Magassa was at Rhode Island, third team Atlantic 10, her junior and senior year. Freshman year in the A-10. She was 6th Woman of the Year. That was back in 2021. Also plays a lot of international basketball for France.
Started her career at Dayton.
Here's Johnson, Logan. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Tech just needs a good possession. Pete. Fritz, oh, nice ball fake up and can't get it to go. Fritz tried to track it down, not going to do it. Fritz keeps battling, and it'll be Texas Tech basketball.
What a hustle play there by Danae Fritz. Not hanging her head on the missed shot, but just hustling after the basketball. These are the types of winning plays that Texas Tech has to make here. Both teams diving on the ball, and yep, great call there by the officials.
I mean, in her career, she's played on 2 Sweet 16 teams. She's finding her role now with this Texas Tech squad.
Yeah, I definitely think she's starting to get a little more comfortable. And it's tough, right? When you make switches and you don't just jump into a new program and understand that system right away. It takes time to kind of get that confidence and understand what you're doing. And Staley Hurd, just a wide open take there in the open floor. And that's going to be a turnover.
Another unforced air turnover. That'll be the 13th. But what was impressive about that, Staley Hurd just blew by the defense.
Showing her speed, right? That 800-meter speed. I asked her, could you still run one? She was like, yeah, I don't think so.
I did a lot of track and field internationally, and I never understood the 800. That's a sprint.
She said, I love it. I loved it.
She kept saying that.
I said, you're wired different.
You're definitely wired different. And we got a whistle and a foul call. The officials are going to talk about it. And I'm not sure who they called it on. And they may be going over to the table to take a look at it. And Julie Cromanhook and Nikisha Thompson talking about it. Chuck Gonzalez over at the table. He'll be joined by Julie Cromanhook. And it happened so quickly. But Oklahoma State on a 6-0 run.
And it was in a blink of an eye. You know, it felt like at time. I mean, Texas Tech has had some momentum here for the majority of this second half, but in the blink of an eye, the last minute and 17 seconds is when they've gone on that run. Up until that point, the Lady Raiders had done a really good job of kind of having some momentum.
Well, they're going to take a little bit longer to take a look at that replay, so we'll step aside with 5:12 to play in the third. Texas Tech. Second half of the season, things get a little tough. We got a little chippy here. There was a foul called, and Hurd's going to be going to the line. But this is just basketball this time of the year.
Well, the physicality, especially of this game, and so that's what they were trying to really establish, and going back and reviewing who was going to be the free throw shooter. So Staley Hurd at the free throw line has been solid this season, about 71%.
One of the highlights for Staley Hurd this season, she got to play her sister in the N7 game. That's a game dedicated to the Native American Heritage Month. That was a big deal. She has great respect for her American heritage. Her mom says she's been dancing in powwow since she was a very little girl and still tries to do it. I love the way she has grasped that.
There's a great article or feature that they ran on that earlier on in the season, just embracing it and talking about it and just educating. Again, I posed like, well, what can't she do?
I know.
Does a little bit of everything.
So impressive. Maupin launches it over the outstretched hands of Wooten, and Bailey Maupin, she goes to double digits with 12.
And that was really, that was big time. They needed that shot. Oklahoma State was on a 7-0 run. Texas Tech had been scoreless, 1 of 7. Those their last possessions.
And here is Gray, knocked out by Bailey Maupin.
Really good read here, just doing a really good job. First and foremost, Bailey Maupin coming down and pure, right? You catch it in rhythm. She gets that type of release. And then coming down the defensive end of the floor, making a play on that baseline pass.
Nice job by Maya Peet, forcing her to give it up off the head of Jasmine Shavers. Couple of pump fakes off the glass. Good job by Micah Gray.
That's something you don't see every day.
No.
An assist off the head of the opposing team. Just an unlucky break there by Texas Tech.
Well, Gray went over 1,000 points in her career this season. Peet, high post. Magassa comes out to meet her. Shavers, they switch. Shot clock at 7. Maupin waits for the screen. Wynn launches, can't get the 3 to go. Peet knocks it out. It'll belong to the Cowgirls. But you didn't see that. But while that rebound was going on, Staley Hurd blew by us and was standing already down by the free throw line. That's impressive.
Yeah, just looking for those opportunities to beat the defense, think one step ahead. Texas Tech looking to bring some full court pressure now.
Texas Tech has been effective on their press this season. In the corner, Gray buries the 3.
That is too wide open of a look, and great headsy play there by Staley Hurd in transition. She could have taken that to the rim, but knew she had Gray on the perimeter.
That's going to be a foul. You got to get out on Gray. She made 10 threes versus Chicago State.
And that's what she does. I mean, you've got to understand where she's at, but right now, I think you're seeing Oklahoma State starting to insert their will in the pace of the play that this is being ran. It is starting to feel like a little bit of a track meet in the way that they're pushing the ball. It's not necessarily fast break points. They've only got 6 on the game, but it feels like a little bit more than that, but just the way they are pushing it up the floor, and Texas Tech is at a disadvantage.
Peet banging with Magassa. Magassa not going anywhere. The shot clock ticks him down inside of 6. Shavers with 2. Shavers with 1. Magassa rejects it.
This is a point I want to bring up, is J.C. Hoyt is just fired up on the sideline. That is the strategy that Oklahoma State wanted to have in this game. They wanted to make life difficult for Shavers. She's only 2 of 5. This is the leading scorer here for Texas Tech, averages 15 points per game. She has not. It has been so hard for her to get a clean look.
Magassa now 3 blocks this afternoon, 43 on the season. And we can't, emphasize enough, at practice yesterday, Krista Gerlich talking about ball movement and not doing what we just saw them do. You sit there and you watch it, but yet they still fall into that little trap.
Well, and Oklahoma State is so long off their ball screen action that, you got Tenan Magassa coming off of that and really walls you up. It's really difficult to work multiple sides of the floor, and then they're coming out and they're trapping you out on the wing, and you're on your heels, and it's like blood in the water at that point. They're just making it so difficult, and you're seeing it. And I think that the game plan of Oklahoma State, not necessarily trying to eliminate both Jasmine Shavers and Bailey Maupin, but Bailey Maupin has been able to get shots. Not saying they're giving her wide open looks, but it's very evident that Jasmine Shavers has been a focal point. She has been uncomfortable from this defense all night long. She has not been able to get open.
Well, Bailey, the 2 of the last 3 games coming into this afternoon were in single digits. She's in double today. Here's Micah Gray. Gray with 14. Hurd with 22. Maupin had the steal, can't make the save. And with 2:34, it'll be Oklahoma State's ball.
That's a really good headsy play there by Maupin, just digging in on the post. And now that's what you want to have out of your guard play defensively, just being able to get in there, get your hands on the basketball when they're not expecting it. And again, another deflection. Texas Tech coming up with some deflections right now, making things difficult. But, like that's not a turnover from Bailey Maupin, but that was just a missed opportunity, right?
Exactly.
She's able to get her hands on the ball, but then it goes out of bounds.
4 to shoot. On the drive, Wooten. Magassa from 15, knocked around. Hurd fights for it. Tech's got it with 2:20 to play here in the third. Maupin, nice crossover, goes inside, and she is going to be fouled. Magassa came over, as did Alexia Smith.
And I almost made this a key before this game and talking to the coaches. And right now, when you're in a little bit of a scoring drought, Texas Tech has not scored in 2.5 minutes, and this is a really smart play by Bailey Maupin. Tech's only shot 4 free throws in this game, and I almost made it a key that if they wanted to have success today, they needed to make more free throws than Oklahoma State attempts.
Well,
basically, you got to win the battle at the free throw line, and they have not gotten there here this afternoon.
And again, they only had 3 versus Houston. They average 18 free throw attempts in Big 12 play. And Bailey Maupin doing her part this afternoon. She's got 13 points in the ball game to go along with a couple of assists. She will have another.
They're top 70 in the country. I mean, this is a team that, this is where a lot of their production comes from.
6 20-point games this season for Maupin. Full court pressure put on by the Lady Raiders. This is where they can excel. With 1 second to spare, crossing the timeline, Alexia Smith. Gray lost it. 14 to shoot. Heward will check into the lineup. Macy Heward, out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, started her career in Montana. She likes the corners. If you watch her on tape, Macy Heward finds the corners and just sits there and waits to try to hit the 3. The pull up by Wooten, going to be short. Nice box out by Sarah Sonogo. Shavers. Nice job defensively, Heward, but Shavers.
Yeah, I like that aggressiveness there by Shavers. Just got to find a way to get herself going here a little bit.
I don't know if I've seen a whole lot of easy shots Shavers has made this year.
But she actually would tell you her favorite shot is contested shots in the paint. Taking matters into her own hands a little bit that last possession.
Now the lead is down to 11 with 1:20 to play in the third. Hurd working on Fritz. Nice job, Danae Fritz. Got some help by Maupin. 3-on-1. Shavers. Sonogo to the hole. Count it.
Well, that's exactly what Krista Gerlich wants to see out of her squad. Getting out in transition, allowing your defense to fuel to easy offense, and then allowing yourself to set up in your full court pressure, forcing Oklahoma State to really run their action. 18 seconds left on the shot clock, getting them in the half court. That's what Lady Raiders want to do.
From the outside, the 3 is buried. The 4th 3-pointer made by Oklahoma State. That's Micah Gray.
What a response by Oklahoma State. This place was loud. The momentum that Texas Tech had generated here, those last couple of possessions, that silenced this crowd pretty quickly.
Shooting and scoring ability, 2 words that describe Micah Gray of Oklahoma State. Maupin on the drive, counted. Maupin's got 16. Shot clock at 15. Game clock at 15. The spin move by Smith, and she rolls it over the front of the iron.
That's interesting. I mean, Oklahoma State had every opportunity in the world to take the last shot. Sometimes, you know, you just, when you're feeling it and the pace of the game is going and, you know, you're able to get that little mid-range jumper, what you're wanting to get, hey, J.C. Hoyt's like, hey, I'm gonna let you out there and play a little bit.
Well, they're going to call a foul on that, and I think the basket is going to count. The officials conferred with each other. The foul probably going to be on Bailey Maupin. And we'll take a look at it again. Well, the foul's on Maupin, pushing Hurd down below.
I'm very surprised by that.
I
don't see anything there that warrants a foul call other than a player creating contact and tagging and looking to drive you. I mean, that is a very unusual call, in my opinion.
Well, they counted the basket. This could be a 4-point play. Hurd.
And that hurts. I mean, Texas Tech has had a little bit of momentum here. They're 3 of their last 3, but then Oklahoma State, they've always had a response. That mid-range jumper, and then that's a big 4-point swing right there.
24 points for Hurd. Final 4 seconds. Here in the third, Maupin. Nice dish. Sanogo can't get the layup. No basket. That's the way the third quarter will come to an end. Most of them are.
Sometimes that can be a little bit crippling sometimes, right, if you focus on it so much. I love it. I love the story behind it.
Larry Brown was the most superstitious NBA coach I've ever been around. Staley Hurd on the inside, picking up her 6 20-point game this afternoon.
She's up to 26 in this game.
She's been solid. Everything we thought. Maupin tries to go baseline. Freelon on Heward, and the whistle and a foul is going to be called. And Kyla Freelon out of Denver will go to the line. Kyla's been playing with 3 personal fouls since the 7-11 mark of the third.
Bailey Maupin's doing a good job. She's doing everything she can to move the basketball in the right way. And this is a great, strong attack from the high post. And again, getting to the free throw line, it's been really difficult for the Lady Raiders to get to the charity stripe.
Now they're 7 of 7 from the line. The problem, I think, for Texas Tech right now is outscored heading into this final stanza, outscored by 16 points in the paint. Kyla Freelon's first 2 points of the afternoon. Ossie, no place to go. She has been quiet today. No points, no field goals attempted. She is just so solid out there. Doesn't force anything. Shot clock at 7. 3 on the way. Offensive rebound. No. Sanogo one-hands it.
That's a big-time rebound there. Sarah Sanogo just going up and palming that basketball.
Shavers took her eye off it, lost it. Logan Johnson.
I mean, just look at the swarming defense and the pressure of Oklahoma State. You don't get to just catch it on the perimeter and be comfortable with the basketball. They were wanting to travel on that call. I think she was able to get rid of it before she fell down.
Shot clock at 2. Johnson off the glass. Counted, and Logan Johnson will go to the line.
What a possession there by Texas Tech. Just being stronger with the basketball, right? Just moving on the perimeter. Good, strong, aggressive take at the rim. That's how you combat pressure, is strong takes, being aggressive to the rim. When you're on your heels,
right?
It's like blood in the water with sharks. You've got to rip it through, be strong, attack the paint. We're starting to see that more, in my opinion, the second half than what we saw in the first half.
Well, that's something that is a plus for Texas Tech, is when Logan Johnson hits the free throw. She was struggling up until the last couple of games. Much better now from the stripe. And the turnover. Here comes Freelon. Freelon strong to the hole. Counted. And a timeout's going to be called by the Cowgirls. The lead was 16. Texas Tech on a 7-0 run over the last 70 seconds. We're in the fourth, and it's tightening up.
He's got a responsibility right now. Right now, Texas Tech on a 7-0 run. I would be curious what Buzz's strategy would be. It's funny, I was preparing for the game and doing all my research on Oklahoma State, and I go to the website. He's actually listed on the coach's support staff directory. That made me laugh really hard.
I think it's great. Key for Texas Tech, they've only turned the ball over 3 times in the second half.
Yep.
After 11 in the opening 20 minutes of play, foul's going to be called.
And they've been able to execute. They've been able to see the ball go through the net. They're winning this fourth quarter right now, 7-2. They're on a 7-0 run the last minute and a half. But again, it goes to their ability to value the possession. They haven't shot themselves in the foot, and so it sounds so simple, right? Especially when you're going against this type of pressure. I just think they've settled in. They've gotten stronger with it, and I mean, that has been the story offensively for Oklahoma State, is Staley Hurd just being so strong and finishing at the rim.
Well, that is the way an inbounds pass is drawn up. Staley Hurd, the seas parted, and that's something that yesterday Texas Tech worked on, the inbounds plays of Oklahoma State, but yet it was an easy 2 for Hurd. Hurd, by the way, now with 28 in the ball game.
Well, she is such a multi-level scorer. She's had some video game numbers from the three-point line this season. She had a game where she went 7 of 7, then followed it up. I think she was 5 of 7 that following game. She has not really been that aggressive looking for her perimeter shots, but I think understanding that there has been nobody who can go toe-to-toe with her when she's bodying you up one-on-one in the paint.
Well, she had 32 versus Alabama State. Maupin, good look at the 3, wide open, doesn't get the bounce.
That hit everywhere, on the rim. Great headsy play there by Jazz Shavers.
Tay Wooten comes to Oklahoma State. She said she wanted to be part of the build. She is a good-looking freshman. Even the Texas Tech coaches said we voted for her for all freshmen in the preseason. That's going to be a foul on Jasmine Shavers. Danae Fritz will come back into the lineup for Texas Tech. Kyla Freelon also joining her. Sonogo, Wynn go out. The lead is 11. Here is Wooten on a recruiting visit. Before J.C. Hoyt got there, she left the football game. It was homecoming at halftime. Said, I'm never going to Oklahoma State. On the drive, no. The shot by Smith won't go. Whistle and a foul, and that's going to be on Staley Hurd.
She is not happy with that call. Doesn't quite understand. Let's take another look. Just high off the glass, and just an over the back, and just, I mean,
well, you know, you and I
there's a little bit of contact there, but the way this game's been,
yeah,
it's been a physical game. I think they've let them play for the most part.
Well, you know, watch LSU and South Carolina.
For sure.
That was a physical game.
Which, yeah, I got to go home and watch that one. Maybe I'll watch out the airport after that. We didn't get a chance to watch it yesterday.
Fritz for 3, buries it.
Bang, bang. That's exactly what Danae Fritz brings to this team. Big shots and big moments. She's up to 11 points.
That was needed for Texas Tech. That is a season high for Danae Fritz. Also ties her season high for three-pointers made in the game with 3. But then a foul down the other end. The lead is down to 8. It was 16.
I really have to credit Texas Tech and their toughness here late in this game. Yeah, just that. It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I am not an official.
Yeah, it's going to be an offensive foul down the other side. And that's going to go against Micah Gray.
Yeah.
And that'll be her 3rd personal foul.
It's getting tight in here.
Yeah.
You can see some of the calls that I think those were allowed to happen in that first half, and now we're getting deeper into this game, and both of these coaches. But hey, I mean, that's the fourth quarter, right? And you've got Texas Tech at home making a run. And again, I will say it has been a very physical game.
Good crowd on hand. Number 3 in the Big 12 in attendance, and Bailey Maupin, she's got 18.
Threw up the flex.
And the lead is 6, and Fritz just kind of leaning on Micah Gray right in front of us. And Danae will be whistled for the infraction.
This is getting tight. They are calling this. They're going to review this. Krista Gerlich is not a fan of that call.
So we'll have to review it the next break in the action, not now. So in front of us, it'll be Alexia Smith out of Columbus, Ohio. 2 years at Minnesota, 2 years at Virginia. 5.5 to play in regulation. And the freshman throws it away.
Okay, so it's choppy right now, right? And no one's really in a little bit of a flow. I would say you could make an argument that the momentum right now falls with Texas Tech. They're on a 12-2 run over the last 4 minutes. Oklahoma State has not scored in the last 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Seem a little bit rattled right now, maybe for the first time in this game, I would say.
I would say so too. And again, they said they learned a lot from that Houston game and obviously learned a lot from the TCU game with that fourth quarter comeback. Freelon hands it to Maupin. Maupin for 3. Counted, and the foul's going to be called. Oh my goodness.
Bailey Maupin with arguably the biggest shot on the game so far. Great dribble handoff action, a foul at the end of the play, an opportunity for a 4-point play. Talk about this run right now that is going on. It's a 3-point game, Ron.
Yeah. Bailey Maupin, her 7th 20-point game. Tech has outscored Oklahoma State 15-4. Make it 16-4 here in the fourth. And the lead is 2. Again at the end of 3, the lead was 14. And a timeout's going to be called. They had only 2 seconds to get over the timeline.
Yeah, that's a good decision there by J.C. Hoyt. They were in trouble. It was going to be a 10-second call.
Well, she's got 2 timeouts remaining. Texas Tech has 2 timeouts remaining.
Texas Tech on a 16-2 run in their last 4.5 minutes. This is, Krista Gerlich said, the practice yesterday and our shoot-around today are the best that we have had this entire season so far. And I think we're starting to see that kind of translate here. Yes, the first half, with some turnovers and shot themselves in the foot, but they have come out here and they have responded in this second half. They are outscoring Oklahoma State 16-4. Momentum, right? And if you're Oklahoma State, this is toughness.
Right.
This is Big 12 basketball in late January. You're on the road in an environment playing against a team that is hungry to prove to the Big 12 that they are better maybe than what their record shows, that they belong to go toe-to-toe with anybody in this conference. I am so impressed with the grit and the response and the toughness we have seen out of the Lady Raiders here.
Oh, absolutely.
These last 15 minutes in particular.
Well, they've lost 2 home games to number 7 West Virginia, number 11 TCU. But you hit it on the head. They have showed a lot of grit this season. Maupin got a piece of it. Hurd's going to be tied up. Ooh, I tell you what, it's getting a little chippy down there.
I mean, Staley Hurd flew after that basketball like a wide receiver. Krista Gerlich wanted a travel, and possession will go to Texas Tech. They're going to rule it. Yeah, they're going to rule it as a jump ball. So possession, Texas Tech.
And they will get 30 on the shot clock. 4:59 in regulation. Shavers needs some help and gets it from Freeline. Shavers for 3.
And this place would have just imploded if she knocked down that shot.
She had a good look at it.
And I'm okay with her being aggressive and taking that shot. Like we said, she has been such a focal point from Oklahoma State defensively. It's been really hard for her to get clean looks.
On the drive, Smith inside, no, knocked around. On top, here is Hurd for 3, no, side of the iron. Texas Tech with a chance to tie and even take the lead and extend their run to 11-0. Maupin out front, waits for the pick. Boy, Freelon just flexed over. They never saw her. Danae Fritz has it poked away. Johnson lost it. Still loose. Freelon's got it. And a timeout's going to be called. Heads up play by the staff of Texas Tech.
I mean, that ball was ping-ponging all over the courts. It goes to show you how valuable every single possession is right now.
Well, let's go to Bailey Maupin, because Maupin, she has done her part this afternoon with 22 points, 3 assists, and a rebound.
She's been so smart. She has made the right reads. She's been aggressive. She's, facilitated. She's been really good with her shot selection. And we knew coming into this game, 4-point play, 1, 2, 3, 4. Arguably one of the biggest shots of the season there for Bailey Maupin. She has stepped up so big when they need her. I think right now, Oklahoma State for the majority of this game has put so much effort in taking Shavers out. Maupin's doing such a good job. And I think for as tough and as gritty as we talk about Oklahoma State being, that kind of fuels Bailey Maupin. She is so blue collar, growing up on a farm, not afraid of hard work. I think she's risen to the challenge, and I think that is trickling down through the rest of her teammates right now.
They got to get it in. Shavers lost it. Shot clock would have gone off. Here comes Hurd.
Look at that. Bailey Maupin.
Wow.
Who is going to make plays down the stretch? Staley Hurd has made a living at really in the open floor, going 94 feet and just attacking the rim. And Bailey Maupin, I mean, that is a gritty, tough play right there. That is a game-winning play. Those are the types of things that get you back into games. That is why they are in this position right now, is Bailey Maupin making plays like that.
Still with a chance to tie the game up or take the lead. Maupin being guarded by Smith. Looking to go backdoor with Johnson. Maupin, they switch in the corner. Danae Fritz launches side of the backboard. Rebound into the hands of Gray.
That was great execution. I mean, that's exactly the type of look that they want to get, where I thought that dribble handoff, that slip, they've ran that multiple times here this afternoon. Got the good look. And right now, Oklahoma State, okay, how are you going to respond? Can you be poised enough these next 3 minutes? And Staley Hurd taking matters into her own hands, and I'm good with that if I'm J.C. Hoyt. She has had so much success getting downhill, being strong and aggressive to the rim. I mean, they're one of their last 5 turnovers in the last 6.5 minutes. They've only scored 4 points here in this fourth quarter.
Well, Kyla Freelon, she is going to foul out of the ball game. That'll be number 5 for her. And at the line, it's going to be Staley Hurd. You go back to last year, where she really became a special player. She had to play the post last year, had to play the point guard at times last year. And despite the fact she is a 71% free throw shooter, she misses that one. She'll have her 10th free throw attempt. Tech does not want to burn a timeout as we head in towards 3 minutes to play in regulation. Shavers. Great guards her. Here is Johnson. Shot clock at 7. Logan stepped out of bounds. Untimely turnover.
That's tough. It's tough. It's tough if you're Texas Tech. You've got to be able to get a shot attempt at the rim, right? It's those turnovers that kind of reminds you a little bit there of what we saw in the first half. But an opportunity for Oklahoma State. Are they going to allow the last 7 minutes and how much of a struggle that has been to dictate the next 2:40? Or are they going to be tough enough to come into this environment and withstand this run that we've seen out of the Lady Raiders?
Gray sees the double team, almost throws it away, and does. Maupin, 1 to beat, and it's a 1-point game.
I mean, I sound like a broken record right now. Bailey Maupin making plays in the right spot at the right time. This place is loud right now, feeling this momentum. 11-1 run the last 4 minutes.
Hurd knocks over Jasmine Shavers. The shot, no. Hurd fights for it off her leg. Cowgirls got it. Whistle and a foul is going to be called on Logan Johnson.
Well, and I think there was a lot of contact that last possession. I thought for sure, they could have called it multiple times. I mean, hey, these are hustle plays. Everybody's fighting for the possession right now. That's an interesting that it was called on that specific play. Yeah. I definitely thought there was more contact earlier in the possession. But this is huge for Oklahoma State. You can tell that they're rattled right now. You've got to be able to get to the free throw line.
And Alexia Smith steps up calmly despite the fact 63% from the line.
And this has been an Achilles heel for J.C. Hoyt and her team from the free throw line. Struggled with that against TCU. And I asked her, so what are some of the weaknesses you see in your team? Well, we turn it over a little bit too much, and we struggle from the free throw line at times.
They missed 4 key free throws in the closing seconds against TCU, but they still got the win. Here's Shavers. Nice pick. Aussie up ahead, looking for Smith. Takes it herself. No. Rebound. Magassa knocks it back out front, and Gray will set things up.
Yeah, and this is a great headsy play. You see J.C. Hoyt telling her team, pull it out. Understanding time and score. You've got a 3-point lead. Run some clock here. Let's set a high ball screen. Dribble handoff action. And again, Staley Hurd with momentum, getting downhill. I'm doing it every single time. I want the ball in Staley Hurd's hands. I want a high ball screen or a handoff. And this was a little bit out of control, but just that kind of slap down. Enough contact there to send her back to the free throw line.
And at the line, it's going to be Hurd. This will be her 11th free throw. Texas Tech has only taken 10 as a team, and they've hit all 10.
And she's got 30. We have seen some unbelievable individual performances here this afternoon between Staley Hurd and Bailey Maupin. And
somebody jumped in the lane too quickly. That's not going to count.
Hurd knew she was missing it. She followed it a little bit too soon, so a lane violation doesn't really matter. She didn't make it.
32 was her high this season for Hurd. Press put on now by Oklahoma State. 67 seconds left to play in regulation. Again, only one timeout left for Texas Tech. Magassa will commit the foul, reaching over the back of Sonogo.
That's just tough. She can't do that. She knows better than that. You've got to play that straight up. That's not a threat to be able to have Texas Tech grab the ball up there at that position. And now you're sending to the free throw line with the clock stopped.
And the big thing is, Magassa has just fouled out of the ball game, number 5. Praise Egareva
that's a big
is going
breakdown.
to have to come into the game. But she plays so hard, Praise does, but you lose your shot blocker. 11 for 11, Texas Tech from the free throw line.
Well, and I would say Praise has been so good. Her hard-nosed, high energy brings defense and physicality. In my opinion, that's not necessarily the biggest loss in the world when you've got her coming back in. And they speak so highly of her, what she brings to this team, and accepting that role. She did a great job in that TCU game against Sedona Prince.
Big time. Timeout's going to be called by Oklahoma State. They'll be down to one timeout left. Again, Texas Tech also with one. Both teams in the bonus. And Coach Holm, who will execute the best?
Ooh, this is fun, my friend. How you doing over there?
Yeah, this is what you live for. Maupin out front with Smith. Nice move, Gray inside, rejected. Ball is loose, and it'll belong to Oklahoma State.
Interesting, getting the ball in the hands of Micah Gray and being aggressive and strong to the rim. And she's done the same thing. It's been Staley Hurd and Gray bodying you off the dribble.
Well, there's going to be a break in the action with 44.8. They'll give Oklahoma State a fresh 20. Almost last touch by Egareva, but she wisely held up.
Yeah, this play will stand.
They're going to look at it. No, they're going to look at it. Yeah, but I think you're right. I think it's going to stand. but the officials are going to look at it. Again, both teams with just one timeout remaining. Oklahoma State, no field goals the last 7 minutes and 11 seconds.
That's as tough as it comes.
I mean, and they played so well offensively through the first 3 quarters of play.
But you've got to understand, like, you can't allow that to rattle you anymore. You got to look at the next play. You got to have short-term memory loss. You can't allow this environment and these fans and being that's the toughness, right, that I think J.C. Hoyt wants to see out of her squad right now. And we were talking about this before the game. We are watching before our eyes the evolution of this Oklahoma State team in terms of learning experiences. Again, we talk about it ad nauseum. This is a good team. It's a deep team. They beat West Virginia. They take a tough loss to a Houston team that was hungry for their first conference win. They fall out of the rankings. We have to be tough enough to know how to win, to stay hungry, to be consistent, to go about our business daily as winners, to handle the pressure. This is as big a pressure as it gets right now for the Cowgirls.
And take a look at that final play again. The officials still looking at the replay. It was touched by Fritz, off Fritz. But did Egareva get a piece of it?
When you take a look at it, run it back one more time. It's
they're
close. Taking some time on this one, and I think when we initially looked at it, it felt pretty clear. But this is a good angle. You see right here. So it's hit by orange, and then maybe a potential. I don't know if it's going to be enough to overturn it. And that is, you can see it right there. I believe this is Oklahoma State's ball.
I think it is too. Just a quick update on Big 12 scores. Kansas State had their 14-game win streak snapped. Colorado beat them at home in Boulder by 10. And again, though, Kansas State without Ioka Lee.
Well,
that's a big loss.
This is end of January basketball in the Big 12, and Kansas State has been so good. We saw TCU take a loss. We saw Kansas State now. A 14-game win streak, and I was talking about it. Colorado is a problem. They're a problem at home. J.R. Payne has a great system. They have a culture of success and excellence that there's an expectation. Now, it's not the teams of the Sweet 16 teams of the past, but you've got veterans and Kendall Wetta, Frida Foreman, who are the leaders of that team. What an opportunity. They beat West Virginia earlier on in the season. Now they beat Kansas State.
I tell you, it's going to be a great last half of the year in the regular season.
The depth in the Big 12 is what I don't think enough people are not talking about, the amount of depth that this conference has. And we've seen it in the last week in particular. A Colorado team that has been slept on a little bit, and this win is going to put the country on notice. And I'm not surprised about it. I've been watching this team. They're in my backyard. I'm watching this team very closely.
Well, the last time Texas Tech beat Oklahoma State, February 1st, 2020. Now, I want to take it back to last year. These two teams met. It was a 3-overtime game. And Oklahoma State won 92-80. Not saying it's going to be that, but the history is there.
This review is still going on right now.
Call
and
on
they're
the
going
floor
to say it
stands
belongs to Oklahoma State,
ball.
which we saw that. It was pretty clear.
Right, credit the officials doing their due diligence.
Yes.
You got to get it right. You have to get it right.
Julie Cromanhook, a veteran official, not only of college basketball big-time games, but also the WNBA.
Yeah, the ball should be under the basket. They were trying to set it up on the sideline. Great job by the officials to correct that.
And it's going to be Wooten triggering in. 15 on the shot clock, 44.8 game clock. Hurd hands it off to Smith. Hurd looks to set the pick. She rolls. Johnson stays with her. Smith, spin move. Great job, Danae Fritz. Hurd offensive rebound, whistle and a foul as the shot clock goes off.
Unbelievable. Wow. Staley Hurd flying in, skying in. I mean, this was phenomenal defense here by Texas Tech, and then you get Hurd under the basket, understanding there's not much time left. Now we're going to have to
Well, we had a good look at it on that last shot. When the foul was called, you had a good look at the shot clock, which is on the stanchion.
Reviewing to see if the foul was before the shot clock violation.
So they are going to see, did the shot clock go off?
I don't think it did. No, I think it's.
You look at the lights, right? You got to look at the lights on that back one, that back rim. How about the effort out of Staley Hurd here?
This is
what
I was stands. Foul occurs before shot clock violation. Oklahoma State 32 will shoot 2 shots.
That was a very quick review.
Well, once you saw it from that angle, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, you can tell right out of the bat. But what an effort play. Effort, heart, and hustle by Staley Hurd, coming in there, skying for the rebound. Those are those winning plays, and that's what I was talking about.
Right.
Texas Tech has got to be able to defend that possession. Keep them at 1 and done. Second chance points. Not giving them an offensive rebound in this game. Second chance points. Oklahoma State 15 on the game. That's a huge step.
Hurd 8 of 12 from the free throw line. She's taken as many free throws as Oklahoma State as a team. Still plenty of time left. Foul, by the way, was on Logan Johnson.
Clutch.
Hurd with a new season high, 32 points. Timeout's going to be called. 28.4 in regulation for Coach Gerlich. And it's going to be a 30-second timeout. The lead is at 4. And she wants to make sure she gets the ball at half court.
Yeah, she stomping that foot.
That was a West Texas two-step.
Stomping that heel over there on the sideline, making sure everybody here knows where she wants that ball taken out. 28, plenty of time left on the clock.
And you don't need a three-point shot. I mean, this is the age-old argument. You want to take the 3. To me, you got to run a nice set, and you got to do it kind of quickly.
I think you want to have multiple options. Bailey Maupin has found a way coming off ball screens, dribble handoff, rub action here this afternoon. Doing such a good job. And I think you got to have, players spotted up in the corner. Danae Fritz ready to go. Jasmine Shavers. Now you don't want to take a lot of time. You've got to get something moving here relatively quickly as you on this inbounds. I will say, you take a look at Staley Hurd's numbers, 32 points. That is a season high, 7 rebounds, 10 of 19. I mean, I love watching Staley Hurd play basketball, and I hope the rest of the country take notice of how impressive of a young lady she is.
Bodies flying everywhere on the inbounds pass. Finally get it to Shavers. Shot clock turned off, 23 left in the game clock. Win. Maupin over the outstretched hands, can't get it. Long shot, long rebound. Oklahoma State will have it. 15.9 to play as Heward will come back into the lineup.
Well, and I'm a little bit surprised. They drew that up for Bailey Maupin coming off on the wing. She didn't just rip that on the perimeter and attack the basket, but that's still a decent look. I'm not sure Staley Hurd didn't get a slight piece of that shot. But hey, that's a pretty clean look, and I would say one of the strengths of Krista Gerlich in her squad is they execute really well out of underneath, out of bounds, sideline, out of bounds. Being able, that is such a strength to be able to get clean, efficient looks like that.
Oklahoma State, though, 15.9 away from securing the win and moving to 17-3 on the season. That'll be their best 20-game start since 2013-2014. And considering the fact that they haven't hit a field goal the last 740.
Points have been very difficult to come by here for Oklahoma State here in this fourth quarter. I don't know if they felt this type of pressure defensively that we've seen from Texas Tech this entire season. And right now, you got to try and get a quick deflection, a quick steal, and if nothing, you got to foul. Sending Staley Hurd to the free throw line. She is 10 of 14 right now in this game.
And as a team, Oklahoma State 17 of 22. And at the line, it's going to be Hurd.
Well, J.C. Hoyt and her squad are getting an opportunity to work on what she feels like is a little bit of a weakness at times, the charity stripe, and being able to secure. I mean, anybody will tell you, you want to play late into March, you've got to knock down free throws late games.
Now Hurd now 33 points, 7 rebounds, a couple of assists. and a block, 4 steals, and pushes the lead to 6 with final 14.3. And then makes a defensive play, stepped out of bounds. Tech will still have it.
She has done it all. She's done it all for this Oklahoma State team.
But see, I like this. Instead of just giving Tech the freedom, just bring the ball in. Put some pressure on it.
Yep.
Make it hard. Here is Fritz. Now they need a 3. Blacklock launches. No. Rebound. Smacked. Maupin knocked it out of bounds, but it'll be last touch by Smith.
Yeah, finding Blacklock. Quick trigger. 35% from the perimeter this season. I gotta go quick here.
Very quick. Win. That's not quick. Today, Fritz not going to do it. It'll be Oklahoma State's ball with 0.7 of a second left. What a valiant effort in this fourth quarter, though, by the Lady Raiders. Outscoring Oklahoma State 20-12. Actually outscoring them 40-37 in the second half. Was the 3 going to count? Yes, it will.
They will count it. Doesn't matter that Oklahoma State comes up with the big road win. Man, they had to earn that one in that fourth quarter. I haven't